Alright, I often get a question on stream, how do I make these cracked earth bases? This is the finished result I'm talking about, and the products we'll be using are dead earth paste from Seetherdes, here it is, links will be provided in the description below, and these are the paints we will be using. And here you can basically see the different stages throughout this process, starting off with step 1, which would be to just apply what they call a primer. It is just PVA glue, so if you have that handy nearby, just works just as fine. Just be sure to, well, cover it pretty well. This is basically just so the cracked paste slides easier onto that surface. You should end up with something like this. Next step would be to apply the actual cracked earth paste, and it is no trick really to this step. Just get a good blob, and I usually try to work the consistency so it's easy and have a consistency, so to say, over the entire base. And you could, I guess, if you wanted to, just make a flat surface like that and try to make a dried out riverbed effect. But I'm trying to make these raised edges instead, and you can see I'm doing that right. We're just pulling the scalpel straight up, and there you go. Next you will have to leave it to dry, but first don't forget, this becomes rock solid. It's more like plaster, so if you want to attach a model to it, I suggest you put the miniature onto the base while it's still curing, so you get a footprint like that. And I usually dip my miniature in water so it doesn't stick all to the model, and here you can see me removing the excess water from the base. Once it's cured, it should probably take a couple hours. Step 1 of the painting would be to use the Mechanicus standard gray. Be sure to get it in all the recesses and the small caves that kind of forms when you make this effect. And from here on, it's basically just dry brushing. Next up would be Dawnstone. I apply this quite generously, getting it all over the base, more or less. Since it's the first step, you can use it quite liberally. Next up, Administratum Gray. So this will be one step brighter, and I'm being a little bit more careful here, avoiding all the most deep recesses, so to say. And finally, I apply an edge highlight using Ceramite White. You could also use this dry color should you want to, but I'm getting used to using the Ceramite White. And here I just want to pick up the very edges of this space. There we go. And after that, you should end up with something like this. And at this point, I usually just put it on this cork painting stand. Here we go. Next up, give it a generous wash of Nuln Oil. Be sure to get it in all the cracks. The smaller brush you use, the longer time it'll take, but you'll have more control over it. There we go. And once that has dried, I usually go back and apply a second dry brush using Ceramite White again, just to make the very top of these ridges stand out a little bit. There we go. And done. That's it, really. The only final step would be to actually apply the model itself. In this case, I'm using super glue, which I would recommend. And if you made everything correct, the model should fit perfectly in those tiny footprints you left earlier when this was curing. And there we go. Thank you so much for watching, and if you want to ask some questions, do it over at the Twitch channel.